Hello, 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 everybody. It is so good to see all of your non-existent digital faces in the chat. How are we doing? Thank you so much for tuning into Arc 3, Episode 7 of our all-transgender, people of color-led, 100% homebrew Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition live-streamed actual play campaign set in our original non-colonial anti-orientalist world. Hello! I am your GM, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me on Twitter, on Patreon, and on Itch at @ByConnieChong. Just look at the overlay up here where I'm pointing at. There's a lot of exciting things coming up, but that is my quick personal intro spiel. I'm now going to pass along introductions to Devin.
Hello, everyone. My name's Devin. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me at... Connie, did you put shout for on the thing?
I did not. Why don't you do your spiel for now, and I'll do it next week.
It's not my personal thing, so whatever, but I am the artistic director of Shout Minnesota, Minnesota's all-trans and gender-diverse choir based in the Twin Cities. That's Minneapolis and St. Paul, although Minneapolis is the better one. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Shout Minnesota. I am also the only person out of this entire group who will shill every single week our Discord server because it's a wonderful, wonderful place full of wonderful, wonderful people. And you should join if you aren't already. It's great. We share pictures of our pets. We theorize about the campaign. We now have a whole chat where people are playing blackjack and fishing and shit. We have this Maki bot. I don't know. She does.
Our Discord server has a fishing mini game. Yes, it does. Come join it.
Also, Max just posted a really cute picture that I might just do while we're in this campaign. I'm not actually going to because that'd be distracting, but it's really cute. I'm very excited about it. And with that, I'll pass along introductions to Erica.
Hello, my name is Erica New Girl. That is my Twitch handle, Erica New Girl. But I am Erica, she, her pronouns. I play Vinox Scherzo, that lovable elf who's apparently petrified of speed dating. And you can come find me on Twitch or any social media platform that I'm on. I am hitting up the TikTok a lot lately. So if you're on the TikTok, go give me a follow, Erica New Girl, there, where I post a lot of the highlights of my Twitch streaming, as well as, thoughts on being transgender once in a while. And yeah, I like to have a goofy time. Like yesterday, we played Resident Evil 7 with a mod that changed all the characters to characters from The Simpsons. Have you ever been terrified of Marge Simpson? Well, I have. And with that, I will pass it on to Max.
Hey, I'm Max. I go by they, them pronouns. I play Dewey Quirk, Bad Bird Dad. You can find me doing my mostly pride flag sewing stuff on Instagram at Stitchmonger and also on Etsy at Stitchmonger. Use the code Transplanar for a discount at checkout. Yeah, I'll pass it to C.
Hey y'all, my name's C. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a dancer, digital artist, tabletop streamer. You can find me streaming right here on Twitch on Tuesdays and Fridays, unless I'm very tired, and I often am very tired. You can find me at pi_sharp and on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, etc. at pi_sharp_art. I am going to be opening up those Pride Flag commissions, so if you are interested in that and didn't get into that giveaway, feel free to come out and commission me for some art. I made the art that you just saw on the overlay. Very excited to have that out between us. So check me out if you are interested. I play Okahye, your local god taxi. I have 41 hit points currently, and I'm battling the better me. So Godspeed, I'll roll a new character. And I will also just jump right in. I'll remember that actually I say the next thing, which is that Transplanar RPG's 1-year stream anniversary. And we saw that there were recently 12-month streaks in chat. Love you all so much for that. Amazing. Our 1-year anniversary is coming up in just 1 week, right? Mm-hmm. 1 week on June 27th, which is technically a Sunday, but we have stuff planned for the entire weekend. We have 4 fun tabletop events planned for the entire last weekend to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. Okay, so put these in your calendar right now. On Friday, June 25th, we are streaming a Quest RPG charity one-shot set in Andake on Gen Con TV's official Twitch channel, which is amazing. We'll be raising money for the Black Trans Advocacy Coalition, so make sure you tune in from 6 to 9 p.m. CDT on Friday the 25th. On Saturday, the 26th, we will be streaming Arc 3, Episode 8 of our main D&D campaign, and you know that that's going to be trouble because it is the midpoint of this arc, and also 8 for the 8 Gods of Andake. So 3 p.m. CDT as usual right here on Twitch. So something big is guaranteed to happen, of course. And then on Sunday, 27th, on our official anniversary, we are launching our Patreon. So with tiers as low as $3 a month, you can get exclusive updates, character sheets, high art res assets, voting power over what happens in the campaign, and some very exciting tiers at a higher level as well. We're also hosting a launch party at 7 p.m. CDT in our Discord server for newly paged patrons and all Twitch subs. We love you so much. So make sure to pledge and stop by for that little party time. And then finally,
Ass Pigeon, we're looking for you.
What Ass Pigeon? Please join us. And then finally, on Monday, June 25th, we are debuting the Transplanar RPG podcast. You've already seen it if you're here, but we will be releasing Arc 1, Episode 1 on Spotify, Apple Music, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts. And podcast episodes will release every other Tuesday chronologically from Arc 1 onward. Patrons will get early access to all those podcast episodes, so another reason to pledge on Sunday. And that is all. Okay, so you can also find out everything about that by using !anniversary in the chat at any time. But show up because we are going to party for 1 year. We are all 1 year old and we are so glad to be in the world. And I'll pass it on to Connie for very exciting news about tonight.
Yes, we do have extremely exciting news about tonight. I have the honor and the absolute pleasure of DMing a level 20 one-shot with Abria, Yengar, Christina, Ariel, Critical Bard, and Gabe James Games tonight. 8 p.m. U.S. Central Time. Join me and us on Effin Funny's Twitch channel as part of a 12-hour charity Juneteenth stream. Abria, Christina, Critical Bard, and Gabe James Games will be playing level 20 D&D characters versus a fresh take on Andake's greatest villain, the Stranger. So if you want some parallel Andake lore, this is non-canon to Transplanar, but this is me testing out some level 20 boss fight mechanics. If you're interested in that, and also that stellar freaking cast, tune in tonight at 8 p.m. U.S. Central Time after our stream ends. It's going to be great. Plus, all proceeds will benefit The Last Mile, which is an organization that prepares incarcerated individuals for successful re-entry through business and technology training. So use !level 20 to access more information about tonight's stream. And don't forget to tune in tonight at 8 p.m. U.S. Central Time. That's 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. So, with that out of the way, I'm going to pass along things to Erica.
Hello, everybody. Those of you, if you're new, just to let you know, we love to thank people here who sub, give sub, cheer, host, and raid. And during Arc 3, Episode 6, these were those folks: Utopia, Pookie Piku, and LXKBW. Moving on to this episode, we do have a 25 sub goal, and 5 subs nets us a point of collective inspiration. We need it. 15 subs gets us an auto crit on the board that anyone, including the GM, can use, and we're terrified of that option. And 25 subs unlocks the ultimate prize. One of us has to monologue in character about the situation at hand, no matter where or when it happens. We have
Somebody please help me. I need an auto crit. Somebody please help.
We do have an unredeemed monologue for Manaia from hitting our goal last session. But if we hit that goal again this session, we'll restart the cycle with a random monologuer. Max, speaking of what's going on, can you please fill us in?
Yes. If you ever forget what happened in this campaign, like I so often do, you can always get to the recap document, which is updated every week by using !recap in the chat or going to bit.ly/transrecap. Yeah. If you don't want to read it right now, here's what happened last time. As the starting gong sounds, the party rushes into Clothau Jungle after the horde of competitors. Immediately, things begin to break bad and everyone gets separated. V sees Seaver and Dewey hears Uilani. Manaia chases after a vision of her dead mother, Nali. Oka is pulled towards Kane by the sword Dream Hunter. V's encounter with a half-elf has her reveal her true name right before she realizes she's stuck in a speed dating sim 2021 across from everyone's favorite ex, Devert. Manaia finds herself at a carnival with all 3 parents. She's thrilled to ride the Angel's Choice, a roller coaster that, horrifyingly, forces her into the literal trolley problem. Dewey inevitably runs into the myriad again. His bomb watch starts counting down, and he finds himself on stage in a circus tent, forced to choose between saving himself and a cage full of his loved ones. Oka's sword takes them towards an actually worthy wielder, namely Kane, and finds himself in a maze of mirrors, where the version of Oka who followed the path they were supposed to is the wielder they were actually looking for. They come out of the mirror, and Oka prepares to attack. And I'm going to pass it to Devin for the title of today's episode.
Of course. A horse, of course. Now moving on to the title of episode, Arc 3, Episode 7. Episode 7 of Arc 3. As always, the titles of our episodes are taken from poems or songs written by queer, trans, and/or people of color. The title of this episode, When You Fall, Do It Gloriously, is from page 35 of Yesterday I Was the Moon by Noor Unahar. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. You should check it out. And the full poem, because it's so short, reads as follows. When you fall, do it gloriously. Collapse like a glass building, sink like a gigantic ship. And when you're done sinking and collapsing and sinking and collapsing, build yourself with your wreckage.
Thank you so much, Devin. And now moving on to the session itself. Some content warnings for this episode and our campaign in general, specifically this arc, may include clowns, detailed descriptions of food and eating, disreality, ultra-violence, probably vehicular murder, getting run over with the vehicles, re the coaster, gore, body horror, time slippage, hallucinations, human sacrifice, natural disasters, alcohol and substance use, addiction, death of loved ones, memory loss, emotional trauma and baggage, self-destructive behavior, bloodletting, cults and cult-like behavior, and anxiety and panic attacks described in graphic detail. So as a reminder, you can always access these content warnings at any time using !CW in chat. So with that out of the way, let's... yes, Devin.
I mentioned this last episode, but I do want to put very strong emphasis on this episode because it is going to be emotionally extremely intense. If we've ever gotten to like the brink a little bit or like gotten close to where you might need to start stepping away from some episodes, this episode is going to take that like line and take leaps and bounds over it. If you need to, please leave. Please take care of yourself. We'd enjoy seeing all of you in chat, of course, but your safety is more important than anything that we do here. So please take care of yourself first.
Yes, hopefully I can deliver on that. So with that out of the way, thank you for that, Devin.
They say.
Let's move right into this episode. Oka, you stand in the middle of a mirror maze. The shaded greenery and mournful bird song of Clothau jungle has long since fallen away from your environment, fading into non-existence like wisps of a dream. And now, you're in the midst of a waking nightmare. Your mirror self, long-haired, unscarred, steps out of a mirror. As they do, the leather armor they were wearing gives way to the long, silken robes of Tulongan royalty. This is who you could have been. This is what you should have become, but you didn't. Your two selves are reflected tens, dozens, hundreds of times in the vibrant mirrors all around you. And then this long-haired Oka, rather, Makoya, lifts Dream Hunter the Emperor's sword and points it at you. And then bing, 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 one by one, the 8 sacred runes along Dream Hunter's blade light up. And Oka, as your mirror self approaches with the Dream Hunter drawn, how are you feeling?
Well, isn't that a question? I think Oka stumbles back. You know, I think the last thing that they did was they had tried to shatter this mirror, and the reflection grabbed the sword, which is not normal at all. Not that they were really expecting this to be very normal, but it's still startling. And I think they like almost like a cat away from water, like just jump back like a few feet and probably like bump their back against another mirror where they like turn and look for just half a second as the reflection comes back out. And they shake their head a little horrified, I think. No, this is... What the fuck is this?
And your mirror self speaks. I am Makoya Hien, second-born, scion of her imperial majesty, daughter of heaven, lord of 10,000 years, the dream-blessed. You are wicked. They brandish the point of Dream Hunter at your heart, and I will give you no quarter. Roll initiative.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God. 11. Again, funny. I rolled 2 11s on my other whatever. 11.
What's your initiative modifier?
My initiative modifier is a +3.
They also get an 11. So, roll again.
18.
Okay, they got an 11 again, so you go first. What do you do?
This is funny. I don't know actually if Oka attack. Well, they say I will give you no quarter, and that puts Oka a little bit on the defensive, I think. So I would like to ready my parry. I believe I still have the blood sword. Oh my god, what is it called? Culling edge drawn. Kind of like as it like glistens against Oka's arm, the blade like flashing like in this mirrored light. Does I guess I'll call them Makoya also have a blood weapon?
No. Their body is unblemished. They don't have any tattoos or piercings or scars.
I had piercings before I left.
This one doesn't. What? Oh, look at your face. You look so sad about that. Would you like your mirror self to have cool, sexy piercings as well?
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Okay, great. I'll retcon that. Okay, Makoya Hien also has cool, sexy piercings. Perhaps even cooler and sexier than your piercings.
Fucking hell, Connie.
Take a risk box.
They've got gauges, bitch. They've got sexy gauges. You could jump a hipster through them. So Makoya Hien, you are gonna use your action to ready a parry. They lunge. What is your attack modifier?
God. For culling edge, it's a +7.
Okay. What is your AC?
15.
Yeah. Does a 21 hit?
Get fucked, Connie. I just told you what my AC was. Hold on. Let me look at what my parry does here. Hello. Parry. I can use my reaction to expend 1d6 to reduce the damage by 1d6 plus my dex. So yeah.
Okay. As they bear down on you with Dream Hunter, right? The blade is like a flash of light as bam! I think the blood blade collides against the silvery edge, right? So they were originally going to deal 10 points of slashing damage. So why don't you use your parry to reduce that?
Seven by 7, so just 3.
Okay, describe to me how they get through your defenses a little bit.
I think the blood blade is weirdly slippery, and Oka like raises it very quickly. So I think the blade like slides and kind of like nicks them in the hand, as Oka also like jumps back.
I love that. Makoya, I think, gives you no quarter. Bam, 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 bam. I think this is displayed through like a exchange of blows, right? Dream Hunter, they whirl around and bam, hit you again with Dream Hunter, and I think you're immediately on the defensive, right? They're backing you up against like a mirror, and I think your back bumps against like the glossy, hard surface of a mirror behind you as there's nowhere else for you to go, as they're bearing down on you. They have perfect dueling form, right? And as they bear down on you, they say, huh, is that all you have? Pathetic.
If Oka is backed up against a mirror, and as Makoya is coming at them, they also, I mean, they have perfect duel, they're really good in a duel, which is what this is. But this person is, well, obviously better. But that also means that Oka knows how to fucking fight dirty, and they're starting to get a little mad. So as I think Makoya takes like the next jab at them, Oka ducks and instead slams like the blunt end of, I think the culling edge comes down and out kind of around their elbow as well. And they jam that into the mirror back to have like the glass like kind of rain down over them. And they're just going to take like a full body lunge to Makoya's like waist to try to also like get them down and hopefully knock the sword out of their hand as well.
Okay, make a, let's say, strength deception check.
I would like to use a point of inspiration because I think that would technically be a negative roll.
Oh boy. Okay, yeah, let me take one off of you.
Uh, 16. Plus 2 minus 2. 16.
So that's a +0. Okay, 16, not bad. So you shatter the glass behind you. Shards leap out from this crater you've created with your elbow. And you see Makoya flinch a little as you run forward and you tackle them. So make a grapple check. That is going to be your athletics versus their dex.
Not super good. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think.
What is your acrobatics modifier?
My acrobatics modifier is a +7.
Okay, that is not going to be sufficient. Would you like to use inspiration?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so I think what happens is you manage to tackle Makoya around the waist, right? And you sort of bull rush them backward, right? And they're like, oh, as like they go backward, and their beautiful silken robes are now like smeared with like the blood that's coming out of your body because you're a blood hunter and there's so much blood just leaking off of your skin. And you ram them, I think, into a nearby mirror, right? But then you experience like an earth-shattering, head-splitting, bludgeoning pain sort of at the base of your skull as they crack the pommel of Dream Hunter against your head. So I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Youch. Shit on me. Oof. 6, 7, 8, 10.
Okay, that's not quite going to be sufficient. Would you like to use inspiration?
Sure, just one, I suppose. Okay, that was worse. I'll take the 10.
Okay, sounds good. 10 is meh. So I think what happens is you're going to take a little bit of damage. You are going to take, 5 points of bludgeoning damage as bam, that pommel knocks into your head. And I think you, for like a split second, you're stunned, right? Like that's the condition you take. You're just reeling their stars, the first stars since the cataclysm, right? Swimming in front of your eyes as you reel, right? And you hear Makoya speak as they sort of disentangle themselves from you. And you hear their voice circling you predatorily, like they're a lion, right? Circling a wounded lamb. And they say, huh, is this what I would have become? Disgraceful. Whatever swayed me from the path of good, I'm glad I get to strike down my shadow self.
I think Oka coughs. They're like, fuck. Fuck you. I never fucking strayed from the path of good. I did this to protect my family.
A true heir of the Emperor would know that the second-born's life is of more value than some 16th born.
If you were any person worth holding that fucking sword, you'd know that your sisters are what is most important to you.
My sisters died, as was their destiny, and I survived. And because of that, I am worthy. And Makoya brandishes Dream Hunter, and the runes begin to light up again. Any last words, scum?
Yeah, I have a few. Get fucked. And it's rage time, baby. It's rage time. I'm gonna roll the d20. And I am going to lose 12 maximum HP. Oh, shit.
Would you like to use inspiration to re-roll that to get a lower roll?
Yeah. Let's see if I can. I've been rolling for shit so far. Oh, that was an 18. That was cute. Okay, so yeah. I need can I reverse an auto crit if it's on the board? I don't think we have one though.
It is not on the board. We have 6 points of collective inspiration if you'd like to use one of them, even though you're out of personal.
I'll use just one. One more. 3rd time's the charm, right? Okay, that was a 4. Okay, hey. That was a 4. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna lose 4 maximum HP. Oofda. As huge peals of red lightning just come crawling up from, I think where Oka maybe is like staggered, kind of kneeling. They just come absolutely like exploding out of them and like all the way like up through the, I guess, ceiling of this place, like, and mirrors like mirrors just shatter. And I'm also going to use my Radiant Soul. So like 2 huge like white wings, like absolutely just fucking crackling with electricity. And Oka, that is their last word.
Okay, yeah, as Vinash bursts out of you with the fury of a shattered god, Makoya sort of brings up Dream Hunter to shield their face, right, as like red electricity starts leaping off of your skin, right, like tendrils lashing at you, and Makoya just goes, huh, you're not the only one with tricks up your sleeve. And wings sprout from their back as well. As these 2 Aasimar, right, face each other down. You are equipped with Vinash, Makoya is equipped with Dream Hunter, and the 2 of you, I think, attack each other, right? And bam! On the explosion of the edge of Dream Hunter meeting the bloodied blade of Culling Edge, we cut to a roller coaster.
Don't you fucking dare. Don't you.
Going past us, we then pivot to a birdcage. Just kidding.
Damn it. So close.
We cut to the Angel's Choice, shuddering down a wooden
Aptly named
track.
the last scene.
Wind gusting at the cheeks of the only rider on this coaster. Manaia, you sit in the front seat, shell-shocked, your face and jacket spattered with warm, wet blood. From your vantage point up in the air here, lighting up the darkness of the burgeoning night, you see the carnival. Sprawling all around you are acres and acres of colorful fairgrounds. A bustling midway teems with game booths. Performers breathe fire and swallow swords. And of course, a massive Ferris wheel towers over everything, bright lights glittering along its many wooden spokes. Manaia, as you sit there in the first car of the coaster, the safety beam still up, right? I think your seatbelt like ragged and half torn against your waist, covered in other people's blood. How are you feeling?
Tempted to say overwhelmed, but it's more than that. Manaia was overwhelmed when the stars went out and she was met with a giant vomiting monster covered in chains. Manaia was overwhelmed when she had to protect 2 small children. Manaia was overwhelmed when she first saw death that she could have prevented. Manaia was overwhelmed when Vinash entered Oka's soul. She was overwhelmed when she literally died. She was overwhelmed when her mother died. She was overwhelmed. She's been overwhelmed for months with no break. And this is where she breaks, I think. There's just too much going on. There's too much at stake. There's too much that she has to do, and she can't do any of it.
Okay. Are you still, based on how you described your reaction, right, last session, it seemed like you had reverted to your big self, right? Do you think you're going back into a childlike demeanor, or do you stay big?
No.
Okay. What does it look like as you break down? Are you crying? Are you shell-shocked?
Manaia is crying, but she's not crying in any way that she's cried before. It's one of those really tense, shaking cries where she knows she can't get out. And so she's just grasping the safety bar, or like the side of the car, and her whole body is just racked with sobs and just shaking, as tears stream down her cheeks and fall past her armor.
Okay. Manaia, the carnival drops out of view as your coaster pulls back toward the docking area, right? You hear the wheels go goof as it like.
Oh, that was it. I thought there was
stops.
more.
That's the first round. Your
Fuck.
mother Kahealani stands by the controls as you pull back into the docking area. You see a big smile splitting her weathered sailor's face. And your father, Napua, bounds over to your side, right? And he's all giddy. He looks proud, right? And he doesn't seem to notice you're crying immediately, right? As he like bounds up to you, he goes, good decision, honey. I mean, 5 instead of 1, that's a toughie, but the coaster was gonna run them over anyway, so hey, what's wrong?
Mother? Father? Where am I? What is going? What? I can't. What is this?
Kahealani turns and also comes over to you. Both she and Napua look really concerned, and I think Napua gets in to the coaster with you and like puts an arm around your shoulder. Kahealani walks over, puts a hand on your other shoulder, and says, "Your mother says to you, oh, honey, this is the angel's choice. It's not easy. We're not going to sugarcoat it. It's very, very hard. But only someone pure of heart has the bones, the spine, the guts to make these hard choices."
Not pure. I can't do this.
What are you talking about, honey? And this is your father, Napua, and he's like looking concerned into your face. Well, of course you are. You're our best girl. The choice you made, not pulling that lever, that was a good one. You shouldn't feel bad about it. You should feel good. Manaia, would it make you feel better to know that the people you ran over, I mean, they weren't the best of people. One of them was a murderer. The other one was a kidnapper. Another one operated an illegal beast hunting ring. They've all got... I mean, in a sense, Andake's better off without them, don't you think?
Mommy, I want off this ride. Can I go, please?
Oh, honey, darling. And both Napua and Kahealani embrace you, right? And they kiss your forehead. And then Napua gets out of the seat, like away from you. Steps back onto the dock. And Kahealani says, well, we won't force you to do anything you don't want to, but Manaia, the truth is, we've seen a lot of people trying to come on here, and you're the only one who's worthy. But you can get off if you want. It was just, well, Nali's on the next run. Can you just do it one more time just to save her? I can't do it. Your father can't do it. The ride won't move for us. And there's no other way to get her off the track, so just, please, just one more time, Manaia, for your mum. Whatever the cost, save her.
I'll do it. But Mom, she's in trouble, right?
Yes, she is, and you're the only one who can save her. You know what? For
Okay.
you, honey, I'll put it on fast. Not faster or fastest.
Thanks. Thanks, Mother. I appreciate it.
Of course, darling. This is Napua. We love you. So just make sure you stay in the ride. And he clips your seatbelt back on and lowers the safety guard back across your waist.
Naya's eyes close at the click of the seatbelt. And she sort of looks away from both of them.
All right. We love you. We see you on the other side. And then we can just be a
Love you
family
too.
together.
Just like old times.
That's right, Manaia. Just like old times. And then Kahealani pulls the lever and the angel's choice takes off again. Makes its slow, eking way up the slope of the tracks. And you see the carnival again. You see the Ferris wheel. You see the midway. You see the performers, the fire, the lights, the smells of food and magic in the air. And as you go up, right, I think a breeze drifting against your face starts to like dry the tears that are still slick against your skin. As you sniff and you steel yourself, right? You see the lever in front of you. And you're like, okay, you know what you have to do. You have to pull it to change tracks. You reach the top, and you hear Kahealani's voice come over like the magic speaking stones that are attached to the poles here. And she says, all right, since it's on fast, darling, you'll have 10 seconds to decide. Not so bad, huh? But we both know what you have to do. Pull the lever. Okay, Manaia, just pull it.
Yeah, Manaia reaches for the lever, looking ahead at the tracks.
Okay. And you see, because it's on the slowest mode, the slope has somehow gotten taller, right? To like compensate for the 10 seconds it'll take to like hit the bottom, the nadir of the ride. So it's kind of hard to see like what the choices are, right? You see that the track that you're on has a single figure at the very bottom, and then to divert there are 3 figures, right? That are sort of like leashed together, but you can't really make out their faces. And then the coaster starts going down. 10 seconds in. 9. 8. 7. And around the 7-second mark, make a perception check.
Even have to.
I don't know, do you?
16.
Okay, you can make out all 4 figures clearly. The one that's strapped to the track that you would run over if you don't pull the lever is Nali. She looks like she's maybe unconscious, right? She's sort of like stirring a little bit, but she's not fully cognizant quite yet, right? And the 3 figures strapped to the track that you would have to run over if you pull the lever are Oka, Dewey, and V. And as the timer counts down to 6 seconds, Oka, what do you say? What do you scream up at Manaia?
Manaia, please, no! You can't! Please!
And as it counts down to 5, Dewey, what do you plead?
Manaia, you have to protect me.
And as it counts down to 4, V, what do you shout?
Manaia, save your friend V.
Yeah. And as it counts down to 3, Nali's eyes flutter open, right? You're so close. The coaster's rushing. There's wind gusting at your face, at your hair, at wiping away the blood from the previous ride. Nali looks up at you and she says, Manaia, it's you. Oh, please pull the lever, please. We could be a family again, please.
Manaia, we trusted you. Please save us.
Manaia's eyes start to tear up. Tears start bubbling over. Bubbling? No, tears start welling up. Tears don't bubble. Fuck. Um. But she wipes them away really quick. And she becomes steel-faced. As I'm going to erase one of my marks.
Ooh.
As she says, out loud, no, this isn't real. Mum's gone. Nothing will change that. And Manaia turns the lever to the middle and snaps it off.
To basically okay, I really like that. I'm not going to make you make a check for it. You're strong. You can do it. You snap the lever off, which means that you've removed yourself from this decision, right? The coaster's going to go where the coaster's going to go.
I put it to the middle in hopes that Manaia could sacrifice herself. The track gets stuck, so she the roller coaster flies off and doesn't hit any of them.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I think that
is the idea.
Okay. If that's your intention, I think that's going to take a check in that case.
Okay.
Why don't you give me a strength sleight of hand check? So if you have proficiency in sleight of hand, you can add it.
Okay. Use a point of personal inspiration. I'm glad I didn't use them before.
Okay, sounds good. Use another?
I'm going to use one more.
Okay, down to 1.
Okay, 15.
15. All right, I'm going to give you a hard choice with a 15.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is, it will work, but with unexpected consequences. So potential consequence of this is it'll basically get stuck and you'll get launched through the air, I think. But you have the seatbelt on and the safety bar on, right? So the force of the coaster stopping so fast might cause structural damage to the Angel's Choice, the entire track. Are you willing to accept those consequences?
Yes.
Okay. You force the lever to the middle, and there is an almighty, explosive noise, right? There's the sound of metal and wood splintering and groaning as this car just smashes to a halt. And I think the coaster flips off of the track from how hard the stop is, almost like it's hit a brick wall, right? And the coaster, the entire snake train of it, falls off the track and sort of just crashes onto the ground. Yes, Manaia.
In the air, in slow motion, Manaia looks at her mother and her 3 party members, all of whom she trusts with her life. And with tears maybe flying through the air behind her, she mouths to all of them, all of you, I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Okay. I really like that. I think what happens is it's sort of like the back of the coaster, the last couple of cars fly off the track and they sort of somersault over you, and then everything's just swirling, just air and just the land, everything's just going akimbo all around you, and you smash into something hard, right? And the last thing you see is the rest of the tracks collapsing. You see your friends falling through space, still tied up in rope. They're not run over by the car, but they are falling down from the elevated tracks. And you also see Nolly falling. Everyone's falling in just a cavalcade of debris, and track and poles and cars. And what are the last things that you call up at Manaia, Oka, as you disappear? You're swallowed by this debris.
Good choice, Angel.
What about you, Dewey?
That wasn't one of the options given to you.
Okay. And last but not least, V, what do you call up at Manaia?
I love you so much, Manaia.
And finally, Nali falls, right? But as she does, her body seems to disincorporate. It just sort of like turns into just like fluttering leaves, right? She was never there. And then you hear her voice sort of fluttering on the wind as she disappears. Manaia, you... But you could have saved me, couldn't you? You could have split the princess. And right, this last tendril, this last claw of the carnival trying to dig itself right into your soul as she disappears in an explosion of leaves. And Manaia, I think the world for you startlingly just goes black as you hit something really hard. On Manaia going to black, we are going to cut now to Dewey. You crouch at the base of a massive bird cage where your wife, Ualani, your daughter Hana, and your friends, Oka, Manaia, and V, are trapped inside. A huge watch is wrapped around the bars of this cage, counting down at the exact same time as the bomb strapped around your feathered wrist. Tick, tock, tick, tock. And coming from everywhere and nowhere at once, you hear music. The chipper, dissonant wheezing of accordions, the glossy braying of trumpets, the peppered rat-tat-tat of snare drums. And this manic soundtrack sort of coalesces in the background as you dig through a chest. You're sorting frantically through tools, parts, equipment, scrap metal, trying to find some way, any way, to disable the bomb that threatens to kill the people you love. And as the timer is counting down on your wrist and on your family's cage, how are you feeling, Dewey?
I think at first Dewey's like kind of trying to stay clear-minded about it, like digging through, looking for the things he knows the tools he needs, and as the ticking gets more into his head, he's just like desperately, like frantically just digging through the box, looking for like the most like crowbars, hammers, things that he can just use with brute force to take it apart.
Yeah, you find everything you need. You find hammers, wrenches, crowbars, screwdrivers, etc. Even like automated, right? Like whirring implements that you've only really ever seen at the URL, right? And as you're like finding all these things and laying them out on like the workbench near you, you're trying to find brute force way into this cage to disable the bomb. Behind you, the myriad paces this arena, right? Dressed in a glittery, sequined ringmaster's suit. His dog teeth are polished like knives. And then he produces a whip and cracks it at the ground. And the crowd around him lets out a whoo, like they're whooping and cheering. They're excited, right? And the myriad turns to you and with a grinning snarl says, "Come on now, Cardew. Put some pep in that step. Give the people a show. You don't want your family to die now, do you? Aren't you supposed to be a paragon? Start acting like one. Save them."
I never asked for this. I didn't want to be a paragon. I didn't want to do this to them.
Asked for this. Asked for this. Oh, Cardew, Cardew, Cardew. You think I asked to be born a demon? And with that, he lashes his whip at you, not to smack you, but to grapple you. Are you going to try to resist this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so make a grapple contest. That is going to be slippery, roll acrobatics.
6.
That will not be sufficient. Would you like to use inspiration?
No, that feels about right.
Okay, sounds good. The end of the whip curls around the wrist that doesn't have the bomb watch on it, right? And then he pulls you toward him. Make a strength save.
Things
Is
I'm
that your
good at
best
today.
stat?
No, but that's a 12.
Okay, that is also not going to be quite sufficient. Would you like to use inspiration, or would you like to keep it?
Let's keep it.
Okay. You're pulled in, sort of like a dancer, right? Like, but reverse, getting pulled toward your dance partner. And the myriad of, you whirl through the air, right? As you like stumble toward him, your feathers like just getting fluffy, and you just sort of see like the crowd whirling around you as your eyes sort of become like these like, ooh, like dizzy saucers. And then he catches you almost in like a dip, as you get to the myriad. And he says, I never asked to be a demon, but he sings it. And then like these spotlights come down, right, on the myriad and on you, right? And like the crowd just sort of fades away as everything turns black. It's just the spotlights on you and him and the illuminated birdcage with Uolani and Hana like in it, right? And your friends banging on the bars. And the myriad continues singing, and he says, you never asked to be a paragon, and sort of swings you out in like this like maddening like tango duet, right? And you know the next words of the song, they just pop into your head. What are they?
I had to do it anyway.
Yes, that's right. You say, I had to do it anyway. And the myriad laughs and pulls you back in for another dip. And he says, or at least that's what you say. And like the snare drums, do 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 do, and like I think like maracas start going in the back. As I think throughout this entire number, to sort of keep time is like the tick tock of like the bomb counting down in the background, right? And he starts singing at you, basically saying like, neither of us asked for this fate, you know, and you're doing like a cha-cha-cha forward. And you know the next line, which is,
But now it's far too late.
that's right. And it's sort of like time for the final couplet. And he says, the time is counting down now on your watch.
Why would you make me rhyme with watch?
And that's the last line, right? And like everything goes back up, right? And like the crowd is like standing and clapping and whooping and cheering, right? And like roses are like being thrown down, right? And the myriad lets you back up. And he says, oh, I'm so sorry, that ate up so much of your time. And as you look down at your watch, you realize, oh, you've got 30 seconds left. Chop, chop.
I scramble back towards the cage, the tools.
Okay, as you do, Oka, who is pounding against the bars, appears enraged at the fact that you stepped away for a musical number. Oka, what do you shout at Cardu?
Come on, Cardu. This is way too easy. We're not even real. Just let us die and save yourself, you horrible little bird.
Oh my god! And sort of cutting in at the end of Oka's sentence, Uolani grabs the bars and says, no, don't listen to them, Cardu. Please, please, you have to save me. You have to save Hana. Please, it's the least you can do. You abandoned us.
That's right, Dewey. You already abandoned them once. It would be easy to do it again. Come on, you're a bad dad. You're a bad husband. One more time. For what, a mirage?
And you hear the crowd go, encore, encore, one more time, right? And to sort of like cut in on this, agreeing with Oka, V steps up to the grills of the bar and says,
I thought you were supposed to be smart. Notch and watch. Come on, Cardu. You were supposed to be smart.
And joining this chorus of voices is Manaia, agreeing, saying,
Manaia. Dewey, it's my job to protect you and the others. Just save yourself, please. I'll make sure they're okay.
Dewey, what do you do? 20 seconds left on the clock.
Dewey drops everything for a moment and like slaps his wings over his ears.
Do birds have ears?
Birds do have ears, not outer. They have, anyway.
Anyways, he slaps his wings over like his eyes and his ears, and he's just like whisper shouting, like, "Shut up! Just figure. You know how to do this. Figure." And then he picks up the tools again. Yeah, he's gonna just try like wedging a crowbar under there and like putting his whole weight on it and just like trying to pull the metal thing off the watch.
Okay, I listened to that. I'm so sorry. Bobo has been throwing up in the background your entire monologue. He threw up literally right underneath my gamer chair. So I'm just gonna recollect myself and get back in character and pretend that never happened and take care of that during break. Anyway, coming back to this. Yes.
Get it together.
Yeah, I gotta get myself together. Yes. Why don't you make me, under duress, a tools check, right? So just roll plus your proficiency with tools. And your dexterity modifier if you have one.
17.
Okay, that's gonna be pretty good. You're gonna have enough. A 17 is enough to save one of you. Either yourself or the cage. Would you like to keep the 17 or try to re-roll that? So you can try to save both of you in this time frame.
Auto crit.
No, I'll take one inspiration.
Okay, yeah. Is that enough?
23.
23! Okay! That is sufficient! Congratulations, Cardew! You grab this wrench. Who do you save first? Yourself? Put on your own oxygen mask? Or are you going to try to save the cage first?
The cage, specifically Hana.
Okay, yeah. You go up and you start like describe to me what it looks like as you're like dismantling the bomb from the cage or just blowing the cage open.
I think they're just like segments of like a watch, and they just come. He's just pulling one after the other off, and like throwing the pieces to the side and running around the side of the cage to find the door.
Okay, yeah. You rip off, I think, a chunk of the cage, right? A small one, because you don't have that much time, but it's enough to get Hana out of the cage, right? Even if you don't dismantle the bomb from it, right? And Hana goes, Daddy? Daddy! And reaches out her little, like, stubby toddler arms for you, like, grasping at you. Do you take her?
Take her?
Okay, you grab Hana. Okay. And Ualani is close behind, but she's like, Cardew, this hole isn't big enough for an adult. Can you make it bigger?
I will try my best with my one arm, because my other's around my kid.
Exactly. You're holding Hana, who's going, What's going on, Daddy? What's happening? Where are we?
It's okay. You're safe.
Okay. Well, this place is really loud. What's that smell? Like candies and apples. And then you hear the myriad behind you go, Oh, Cardew, you're a good father now. That's unusual. No, that won't do. You see, you're not supposed to win this. And he snaps his fingers. And the second hand on the watch on both bombs speeds up and counts down to 5. Right, which has basically negated your successful 23. And in these 5 seconds, Hana's like looking at you, right? And Ulani's going, Cardew, your watch! You have to save it! Hana's right there!
I think Dewey's gonna hug Hana as tight as he can, and then shove her away from me and away from the cage.
Okay. You shove Hana really hard. She goes, what are you doing? Dad, but... As she reaches out, but she's out of range, right? Of the inevitable explosion, right? So in like the 5, 4, 3, the final seconds, right, of you and this cage going off. Oka, what do you call out to Cardew?
You could have saved all of us, Dewey. You could have.
What does Manaia say?
Might I go last?
Yeah, of course. What does V say?
I thought you'd be able to think of the solution, Cardu. I thought you'd be able to think of a solution.
And finally, what does Manaia say?
Oh shit, I had a thing. Mahu's waves flow through us, well, flow through our blood. So I thought.
Okay. Dewey, you got one more second left. What do? Do you just brace? Or do you run?
I tuck my watch arm underneath me, and I turn away from I turn my back to the cage.
And in the last second before both bombs go off, you just hear Ulani go, typical. And you explode. And on Dewey exploding, we go now to V. V, you sit on one side of a long wooden table, surrounded on either end by other prospective speed daters. Fireflies drift through the night air, their shimmering light bringing out the green sheen on your cheeks. You smell meat roasting from food stands, and you hear laughter as attendees of the carnival stagger through this bustling midway, drunk on fun and love. And sitting across the table from you, silhouetted by the light from a nearby torch, Sievert Wrathstone. He's dressed to the nines in his sharpest suit. His scales are polished, his golden tooth is gleaming, and his eyes are fixed on you. He wears this soft, open expression, one you haven't seen since, well, I don't think you've ever seen this look on Sievert's face before. As you gaze into the eyes of your ex-lover, this man who betrayed you, who hurt you in a way you'd never been hurt before, V, how are you feeling?
Well, right before this happened, I tried the dimension door out of there, and it put me right back in the seat. So I also don't have much magic left. I'm a little low from all my tricks at Kane's tent and trying to get out of this earlier. I'm out of luck. I'm very short on sorcery points. So I'm a little bit concerned for what I'm trying to do is V's talking to herself in her mind. She's saying, you've had to get out of situations like this. You've had to, just keep your cool. We got this, just and like there, but there's also this part like just her mind is just spinning 100 miles per hour while her frontal lobe is like just trying to like keep her calm and like stay present to what's going on and like looking at all the details around her. Like, would you say this is a large table, a huge table, or even huger table?
Oh my god, V. I would say this is a large table.
Okay. In that case, V is going to cast Animate Object on the table.
Okay.
And just give it, because I can mentally talk to the objects I cast it on, I'm going to give it the command to defend.
Okay.
And from there, she's going to turn her eyes to Sievert and be like, oh, love of my life, what a pleasant surprise to see you again.
You said your name was Veronica? I don't believe we've ever met. Hold on. And Sievert picks up the stem of a complimentary wine glass right nearby and like sips at it and says, hold on. Wait, yes, I do believe I might recognize you. We used to mean a lot to each other, didn't we?
You know, maybe I meant a lot more to you at the time than you meant to me, but here we are finding ourselves.
I've found myself, V. I know who I am, I know what I'm about. Do you?
I know exactly what I'm about. Survival, That's what we do.
V, that is so 1 century ago. You should grow up. And I think on that, ding! Like a bell goes off, right? And everyone on your side starts to get up and shuffle over to the next person. And Sievert just sort of goes, that's a no for me. Sorry, darling. To sort of like reject you as a speed dating prospect. What do you do?
So I'm looking around. Are people expecting me to get up and move to a different table? Is that what's going on?
No, to just move to the seat to your left.
Okay. Well, in that case, V is going to stand and just give the table the attack command to just fly at Sievert.
You love your animate objects. Okay.
I never thought it would be my favorite spell when I selected it.
Okay, I think it works. The entire table picks itself up, right? All the complimentary wine glasses, all the tapas, all the little appetizers and kimchi and porridge bits that have been set out go sliding off, right? As the table just hurls itself. In the process of hurling itself at Sievert, it also hurls itself at everyone else on Sievert's side, right? And everyone goes, oh, what the? And there's like this commotion, like birds take flight, like these doves that were perched nearby, like to like set the mood, like take off, right? And the human man who is sort of like the MC, right? The master of ceremonies who's in charge of this goes, oh, why, I never, as the table gets up and is about to, it seems to be about to like squash the other side, right? And Sievert is you don't see Sievert anymore because the table tips over. But then the table stops, tipping over, sort of at like a 45-degree angle, right? As someone on the other side grabs it, right? You see like these two like gray fingers grabbing it and poof, set the table back down. As standing where Sievert stood is Rev. As she puts the table down, right? Like her arm muscle sort of bulging. Let's give the fans what they want. As she sets it back down, like her cape of feathers like fluttering around her. As she looks you dead in the eyes, V, and says, V, what'd you attack me for?
You weren't there a second. I didn't attack you. Sievert was there. Remember we made a pact. I was attacking Sievert.
Oh, Sievert, huh? I don't see him anywhere. Is everything okay? Do you not want to do this? I thought this would be fun.
No, let's go ahead. Yeah, and V's like awkwardly looking around, like taking the next seat in front of Rev.
Okay. As you do, like everyone else is sort of like giving you angry looks, angry glowers. This woman is like, oh, and I just got this dress pressed the other day, and now it's got wine on it. She sits down, and you sit down as well. And the human MC just goes, well, okay. Again, I'm going to reset the clock, because we did lose a little time from that little hubbub. I do ask that we not animate the table, please. Thank you.
It wasn't me. It was someone else. I'm innocent.
We've got our eyes locked on you. As this like human man walks away, you sit down across from Rev, who addresses you and says, well, this is a funny activity for a date, don't you think?
I wouldn't. This wouldn't be my first pick, but it's nice to see you again.
It's good to see you too. I guess we might as well just go along with this, right? So, what are your hopes for the future?
Well, I'd like to avoid Andake completely getting destroyed by lack of gods and goddesses apparently in the sky.
But I thought you didn't believe in the gods.
No, it. I'm I'm in a, let's just say I'm finding myself right now. I'm a little confused by all of this.
And do you like what you're finding?
Some elements, I've found some friends that I enjoy, and I've found you. That made me happy.
V, if I proposed, would you say yes?
Well, that's certainly that's a heavy commitment. We've only known of each other's existence for a few months, and there's a lot going on in life right now. It might not be the best of times to propose. Maybe something a little more romantic, like some type of victory ceremony. We could be proposed to. I've always thought it'd be something a little more special than at a speed dating table.
It was mostly a hypothetical, V. And like a look of deep sadness falls over Rev's face. She says to you, V, I've been thinking about this for a long time, and especially now that I'm with the Raven Queen, it's made me realize a few things about myself and what I need, and frankly, what I don't need. You're a sweet girl, V. You are. It's just, you're a little too, unattached for me. I don't know what you're so scared of. I thought I'd proven myself to you by now, but I'm starting to realize that it's really not me. It's you. No one can ever really be good enough for you, I think. Not your mother. Even on her deathbed, you resented her. Not your father, who you never you never believed in. Not your friends. I mean, how long did you hide the fact that you were working with the chrysalis from them? And I don't know, just the things you do, you're so impulsive, but at the same time, you never open up. I don't know if I can be with someone like that.
He's crying.
Do you feel like you'd mark a box from that?
Yeah, that's a box.
Okay.
Yeah, V's definitely crying, and she's Rev, just don't. Why? I don't know what this place is, but this is all just. This isn't real. This is just. Please just. I haven't felt this way about anyone in a long time. Please don't. This isn't real. And like starts sort of self-soothing, rocking herself a bit. The tears and stuff are making her very internal right now.
Okay.
And she's just gonna I think cry for a little bit there.
How many boxes are you at?
I've currently got 3 ticked off.
Okay. As you sort of say this through your tears and you look back up, it's not Rev's face you're looking into anymore. Rev has changed. And you're looking into the face of your mother. And she's sitting there across from you, right? And like all the noise, the hubbub, all of it just sort of falls away. And all you can really focus on is your mother's face, this plank of wood between you, and the fact that you're sitting across a table from each other. And your mother she looks sickly. Like she always did, right? But she's not bedridden here. She's upright. She's looking at you. She cocks her head to the side and says, "Oh, Vasanti, darling, just because something isn't real doesn't mean it's not true."
Can't I give me a hug, please?
Oh, honey. And the table sort of just vanishes, it's of no consequence anymore. There's just space between the two of you. And she holds out both of her arms to embrace you. Do you go forward and hug your mom?
Yeah, if he's gonna get enough, still just a mess of tears. But then, yeah, get up and take a moment. Again, just her green eyes just sort of glowing through these tears. And, yeah, she just it's almost as if this final ghost pushes her into her mother's arms, and she reaches around and tries to hug.
And as your mother hugs you back, she strokes your hair as you're crying against her shoulder, and she just whispers into your ear, oh, honey, you ruined me, you know that? You never believed a word I said, but everything I said was always real. If it weren't for you, your father would still be with me. I'd still be the ruler of a clan. I'd still be rich and noble. But then I had you. And you ruin everything. Everything you touch, V, you destroy. And you realize as you're holding on to your mother, your fingers are grasping onto what feels like these thick black molasses almost, right? Where you're touching her, it's almost turning into this horrific sludge. She's melting away in your hands.
I think V is going to actually squeeze the sludge harder and closer and say, "You're absolutely right, Mother," and cast Fireball in the spot that they're hugging.
Centered on yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And as the world burns, we cut to break. Okay. So there will be a polished musical number for the podcast when it comes out. I will be producing that, and I will be getting Max to sing for it, and I will be recording actual lyrics for it.
Yes.
So if anyone knows anyone who can produce musical numbers, Devin, let's talk to me about that. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We have a brand new fan art reel. Yay! We will be back in 10 minutes. That's around 4:28 or so. That's the time it is over here. We love you all so much. Stay tuned for the second half of Arc 3, Episode 7. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Sheesh.
I learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I learned to swallow light, to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark things. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I learned to swallow light, to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark things. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I
tear, blood, hair, tear, blood, hair, tear, blood, hair, tear, blood, tear, blood, tear, blood, tear, blood, skull. Lay me in my glamour tomb. If death should take me, still be VIP. Take my body one more time. My last breath can be yours to keep. Yours to keep. Yours to keep.
Hello, 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 everybody. It is so good to see all of your digital non-existent faces in the chat. Welcome to the second half of Arc 3, Episode 7, When You Fall, Do It Gloriously. Just as a reminder of content warnings coming back into this, for this campaign and this session in particular, and this arc, may include clowns, descriptions of food and eating, disreality, ultra-violence, gore, body horror, time slippage, hallucinations, human sacrifice, natural disasters, alcohol and substance use, addiction, death of loved ones, memory loss, emotional trauma and baggage, self-destructive behavior, bloodletting, cults and cult-like behavior, and anxiety and panic attacks described in detail. As a reminder, you can access these content warnings at any time using !CW in chat. And because we did hit our sub goal twice, basically, I'm going to need you all to pick a number between 1 and 4, and I'm going to roll this d4 and see who gets the monologue on top of Manaia's. Okay, and then one more.
It's just Manaia 3 times.
It's Manaia 3 times. That's the spoiler. Okay, thank you all so much. All right. And now getting back into the session. There is an explosion of light as two Aasimars collide in the middle of a maze of mirrors. Dream Hunter's blade, glowing with divine radiance, smashes against the blood-red blade of culling edge which sprouts, Oka, from your arm. You gaze into the double-pupiled, furiously gleaming eyes of your twin, Mokoya Hien, the drow you should have, could have, but didn't become. Parry, parry, dash, strike. It's two perfect duelists fighting each other, each at the peak of your physical and athletic perfection. But Mokoya has an advantage over you, one that you can't shake. And that is that they don't hate themselves.
Jesus fuck!
Every strike they land, every blow they parry from you, they do with such unshakable confidence and faith that what they're doing is the right thing in their face, that you can't help but wonder, when have I ever looked like that? Really? Oka, what do you do as the two of you clash?
Oka is letting Vinash fuel them a little bit, trying to like keep all of those like nails, those hooks out of their mind so they can focus. Like they're trying so hard to focus on just this fight that they keep, like every time the blades like clash, they know that that's theirs and it fucking hates them. Like this Dream Hunter. And they can't focus. They just can't focus. They can't get into like the true battle, and they're just letting the rage make them a little sloppy, I think.
You are sloppy and furious, and Mokoya is able to back you up again. They're on the attack, you're on the defense pretty clearly, pretty obviously. Your guard is sloppy, you're wide open. They're able to land a couple of glancing blows like on you, right? With Dream Hunter. And as they continue to attack you and push you backward, right? They say to you, ha, a broken god inside of a broken person. It almost fits.
I think Oka just snarls and like tries to like lunge like at probably not a place where like duelists, like in a joint, you know, which I don't think is like a proper dueling attack, I suppose.
It's not, but Mikoya just parries it, like with just contempt. They just flick their wrist, and Dream Hunter just like glances Culling Edge away, and they go, "Huh, your little tricks, your profane magics, your blood maledicts, these little evil rituals, these profane sacraments you do, nothing will give you the power that I have. Look around you." And as they speak, other figures appear in the mirrors that are reflected all around you. So joining your two dueling forms, you see Yaya's face, your youngest sibling. She's standing there, staring, watching wide-eyed. And this is 7-year-old Yaya, right? Not the 14-year-old Yaya you met in Convergence. How does seeing her shocked face make you feel?
Oka grinds to a halt, like immediately. Like they almost like drop out of the air because I think this is like a semi-aerial battle. You know, they like they just stop, and I think that there is like a body slam coming for them. Like as soon as they like lock eyes with Yaya, like in kind of like shocked horror.
Yes, I think you lock eyes with Yaya and you drop your guard, so Mikoya comes pummeling down, right? And I think just like punches you instead of like attacks you with Dream Hunter, just socks you in the face, right? And you stagger backward, you hit the ground. I think like your feet land on the ground and you stumble, right? And on that collision, you see Yaya start to cry in the mirror. And she just goes, "Liangya, a monster! There's a monster!" And she turns and runs, crying, and disappears into the mirrors.
Was she pointing at me?
Yes. Do you think that would...
All right, that's box number 3. Yeah, I'd say so. I think this whole thing has been a bit of a box number 3 to go. Yeah, sure.
Sounds good. And as Yaya turns and runs and disappears into the depths, the reflective depths of the mirror...
Wait, Yaya, wait!
Chasing your own sister away with how monstrous you've become. What kind of an older sibling are you?
I'm not. I'm not.
You're scaring away the only people who might have understood you. But it's small wonder why they won't. Why they never will. Look at you. And Mikoya steps toward you. They're not even like lifting their sword at you anymore. Like, you're not even worth killing. Just look at you. Broken. Collapsed. Covered in blood. What is this? You look like something torn out of a cultist's handbook. And then, another figure appears in the mirror. Walking forward, you hear a voice go, "Yeah, it's okay. There's no need to cry. What's wrong? Where's the monster? And you see Liangya with those thick spectacles, right? She's standing there clutching like a stack of books to her chest. And she also freezes when she sees you on the ground with Mikoya standing above you, pointing Dream Hunter at your throat. What do you do?
Oka looks up with hope in their eyes, and they look at Liangya. "Liangya, help. Help. I don't know if I'll make it." And they're almost somewhere else, too. They've said those words to Liangya before. "You have to help me. Please."
And Liangya responds with familiar words, too. She drops the books, right? They clatter like to the ground as she like claps her like her shaking fingers over her mouth. Like her eyes go wide under her thick glasses as she goes, "I don't know what's going on. It's trying to talk, I think. But it's awful. Oh, the noises it's making. Mikoya, you have to help us." And Mikoya, standing over you, says, "Don't worry, Liangya. I'll save you." And Liangya turns and runs and disappears into the multifaceted reflections. What do you do?
Oka stares after her in shock, or empty kind of shock. They just kind of like watch her go as their wings kind of just like almost like sizzling start to fade and just turn into dust that kind of like piles like ash in a line on either side of them as they disappear.
And you see Liang Ya's figure, I think, running across the mirrors, you know, like near you. And like the many mirrors reflecting, you almost seem to see like the shimmering mirages of trees and bamboo stalks, right? Like appearing here and there, like in the mirrors all around you. Liang Ya runs and then she collapses against Toya in the reflection. And you see Yaya also like clutching at Toya's skirts, you know, scared, hiding behind it. And Toya has like both of her arms out. And this is the second eldest sister. She is just a few years younger than you, right? She's standing there. Her hair is in this no-nonsense ponytail, right? And she's putting on a brave face, even though you can tell that she's really scared. Like her knees are shaking. And she's staring right at you, Oka, through the mirror.
And I think Oka kind of like uses like the last bit of energy, and like the electricity is still like crackling, but not with so much power anymore. They like stand up, and I think they even like shove past the other Makoya to like try to get closer. Toya, I'm here.
There's something wrong with it. It's corrupted, I think. You have to kill it. Makoya, you have to kill it. It's going to kill us if you don't.
No, Toya, I already did. We did already. We did.
Don't worry, Toya. And this is Makoya speaking. The mirror self that you brushed past. I'll take care of this. Take the girls and run. And Toya in the mirror, and Sambaya and Liang Ya all nod. And their eyes all land on you, Oka, and their faces are just full of fear and disgust. Looking at you like you're nothing more than a monster. And they turn and they run, and they disappear into the mirrors. What do you do?
Wait, stop! I'm not.
But you are. And this is Makoya. And they've begun like circling you, right? Like Dream Hunter's still aloft, right? But you're no longer in the middle of this huge clashing battle. But you are. You are a fiend. You're a scum. You're a beast dredged up from the depths of the hells, here to torment me until the day I die, or until the day I strike you down. Too long is better off without you, and Andake is better off without you.
Then what am I even still doing here?
Makoya. And appearing in the mirror, sitting in her wheelchair, is your mother, Arden. Her hands are clasped on her knees, and she is looking at you, Oka, with an expression of pity. Not the pity a mother would give to a child with a skinned knee, but a kind of detached pity that you might give a two-headed calf that's born that you know will die, that you know must die. And Arden says, Makoya, stop playing with your prey. Just put it out of its misery.
Wait, Mom. I'm right here.
Makoya, don't let it near me, okay? Don't let it hurt the girls. Yes, Mother.
But you said it wasn't. You said it. What? And Oka backs up a few steps.
And as you back up a few steps, Arden just sort of like shimmers and begins to disappear, right? in the mirror. You bump against a mirror, and you turn and look. And your reflection is not your own. The face that looks back is a Telian. Antlers, a dragon-like snout, but there's something so wrong with this Telian. Its eyes are black, and this strange golden black, like the void of stars, right? Blood or some sort of golden liquid is pouring out of its nostrils, out of its eyes, and it's snorting this sort of like golden mist that seems to corrupt the very air it touches. And you realize it's you. This thing, this monster is you. What do you do?
Well, I'll go ahead and check another box, I guess. But Oka screams with the same terror that they felt when they were 17 years old and had never fought a monster in their life, never picked up a sword with the intent to kill. And they scream and they fall back onto the ground and like pull themselves on their elbows, like lifting one to try to defend themselves from the Telian.
And Mikoya strides forward, their shadow falling over you. And they say, "Yes, Mother, it's time I put it out of its misery. I, Mikoya Hien, second born, rightful child and scion of her imperial majesty, daughter of heaven, lord of 10,000 years, the dream blessed. I wield Dream Hunter. You are wicked, and I will strike you down." And they thrust Dream Hunter through your chest.
I don't even know if Oka makes a sound. I think it's more like the scream just chokes. And they like just go quiet. And I think like their shadow fell up, so like from the back to the front. And they look at their image reflected in the mirror. Wordless.
And you see yourself, not the Telian anymore, but just yourself. Scarred, bloodied, with a sword. Your mother-father's sword, speared through your chest in the exact same place where the Telian had gored you. And as you stand there just like shell-shocked with this sword inside your body, Mikoya Hien, their duty done, releases the hilt of Dream Hunter and walks back into the mirror. And before Mikoya Hien disappears into your reflection, they say, "Holy beasts only attack when provoked, and the Telian strikes down evildoers where they stand. You were meant to be struck down, because you are evil, and you are a monster." And on that, Mikoya disappears into the mirrors.
And Oka stares after them. Empty.
I think on that, we cut to Manaia. The last thing you felt was this mighty crash, right? This huge explosion, this cavalcade of steel and wood and pain and fury and recognition, right? And then your world just sort of went black. When you come to, right, your head is aching, right? Your body feels banged up and bruised, like you really did just crash like a high-speed roller coaster, right? And I need you to mark 1 level of exhaustion.
Hey, fuck D&D, fuck Wizards of the Coast. What does exhaustion mean? I never really cared until now.
There are 6 levels of exhaustion. At level 1, you have disadvantage on ability checks. And you can only clear exhaustion through like a special spell that says, I think it's greater restoration or lesser restoration, I forget which, or by taking a long rest. Manaia, as you come to, sort of like your eyes fluttering, all around you, you see the shattered remains of the Angel's Choice. This huge track has crumbled, and there's nothing but just debris, right? Like the aftermath of a typhoon or an earthquake. You don't see anything moving in the debris, just you. Just planks of wood and twisted wrought iron. What do you do?
Manaia closes her eyes, and her body goes slack. Mark another box.
What are you at now?
4.
Okay.
5.
Okay. As you close your eyes and you go slack, you feel the princess stirring inside you. You surrounded by the wreckage, right, of the Angel's Choice. And the princess sounds like she's been crying. If a demigod can even do such a thing while residing inside your soul. The princess just goes very weakly and feebly. Manaia, I thought she was real. I thought she was there. I'm so sorry. I did that to you. I did that to both of us.
Princess, please. Manaia is thinking, but even her thoughts are shaky. There's nothing either of us could have done, and there's nothing we can do. I'm sorry.
She's really gone, isn't she?
I'm sorry I took you. I'm sorry I let her go. I'm sorry I brought you here. I should have given you back.
No, that shouldn't have been your choice to make, Manaia. I should have done it. I should have split myself.
But it was. It was my choice. The wrong decision.
Manaia, I don't know what to do. I miss her so much. There was so much that I wanted to say to her. Our story wasn't done. We had so many more adventures to go on, so many more things to see, so many more things we wanted to teach you, and she's gone, and nothing is ever bringing her back.
I'm sorry. And I'm saying this out loud now, and she's just repeating, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And the princess is sort of like crying along with you, just saying, repeating over and over, it was my fault. It was my fault. It was my fault. As the two of you just sort of like crumble there, I think, for a bit, and cry in the middle of this desolate destruction.
After a few minutes of this, Manaia's racking sobs calm down a little bit. And one last powerful thought with a different intent this time. Princess of Leaves, emissary of Sen, god of change, daughter of the Queen of Seasons. I'm sorry. And she gives up.
Are you marking your 5th box? Is that what that means?
Yes.
Okay. We have our first character taken by the carnival, and it's Manaia.
You sound so very joyful, Connie.
I know it. What do I? Ooh, no, I don't. Okay.
So Manaia's had her eyes closed for most of this, as she lies in the rubble, supposedly pinned down maybe by some rubble or by the twisted metals of the train car sort of almost strapping her to the ground. She could get out easily, but even though her eyes are closed, there's a part of the rest of her also closes. Her soul closes. Her body goes slack as she accepts that nothing she'll ever do will ever fix anything. She's always made the wrong decision. She's been responsible for so much pain and death in this world, and she's tired. And she doesn't push the princess out, but as her soul fades to black, so does it open. And there are no thoughts, just the feeling of, Princess, I've failed you. I don't deserve you. And I would understand if you left.
Okay. I really like that. Why don't you have inspiration for that? Silver linings, am I right? Okay. I think as you're just there, you're like in the pit of despair, right? And you've accepted that all is lost. There's no way out of this. You've failed the princess, right? You've given up. And as you hit that low point, a hand rests on your shoulder. And then a different hand rests on your other shoulder. And you smell the waft of sea breeze and the gentle scent of magic. And you hear Kahealani on one side and Apua on the other. And they talk at the exact same time, addressing you. And they say, "Oh, Manaia, our darling child, don't you see? There's no point in fighting, is there? Just come with us. We'll take care of you. We'll love you forever. We can be a family here. We can be happy here. Here in the carnival." "That's right, Manaia." And a third voice joins them. And this voice comes from directly in front of you. And she smells like autumn leaves, right? And all the seasons mixed together. And your mum, Nali, cups your chin in her hands, and she gently opens your eyes. Do you let her?
Yes.
And you look into Nali's kind, beautiful, understanding face. And she's wearing that crown of leaves, the same one that you have tied around your arm. And she's smiling at you. And you're no longer in the middle of a destroyed, broken carnival ride. You are in the middle of a bustling midway. There's happy people walking around, all around you. You see people lining up for different kinds of coasters, not the Angel's Choice. You see that giant Ferris wheel, just like dominating the entire eastern sky to your right. And it's like your parents are there, like they've taken you to the fair, right? And Ali smiles at you and says, "Come on, Manaia, why don't you stand up? Why don't we go have some fun and not think about all the hard things that are out there?"
Yeah. Manaia effortlessly stands up to her full height of 4 feet 5 inches, grabs her 3 parents' hands, and skips away.
Okay. And on Manaia, child now, skipping away into the carnival, right? We are going to cut to Dewey. Dewey! You are Dewey Kablooey. Sorry, I could not resist that. Dewey, you have exploded. You've blown up. The last thing you did was shove Hana away from you, but you failed to disarm the bomb on your wrist and the bomb around your family and your friends. So I think you're flying through the air, right? Like this explosion is so massive, it just flings you through the air and everything falls away from you. Everything is blown white, just this blinding, cascading white light. And then you smash into the ground. You smack against something really, really hard. So I'm going to need you to just take a little bit of bludgeoning damage here. You are going to take 10 points of bludgeoning damage as your body crumples against this really hard surface. Dewey, as you slide across this hard, just this gleaming surface, your eyes are closed, right? But there's this blinding white light all around you. What do you do?
I think for a couple minutes he's in that like between consciousness and unconsciousness, and he knows he should wake up. Still so tired and everything hurts. And then I think when things get quiet, he opens his eyes.
You open your eyes, Dewey, and you realize that the cold, hard surface that you've skidded against is actually the bottom of a bird cage. And there are bars rising up around you, right? And you're suspended in the air. And you see the same crowd as before. They begin to float back into existence, right? They begin to solidify as you blink your eyes and this bright light fades away. The light, you realize, was a spotlight, right? And it's trained right on you. And you're suspended maybe 15 feet into the air above the myriad who's pacing and working the crowd, right? And Dewey, you are getting booed. Between bites of peanuts, lamb skewers, candied hawthorn, fried squid, the crowd in your circus tent still finds the energy to jeer and taunt you. And then flying through the air, just missing the cage by just a couple of inches, an apple core. And then peanut shells from all directions. A banana peel, rotten one, just smacks against the bars. And then tomatoes just splotch, and smack against the cage, right? And all of this refuse starts flying from the stands, spattering onto the hard iron bars of this cage, splashing onto your feathers, and some of them even get inside, right? What do you do as this crowd is just booing and throwing stuff at you?
Yeah, that checks out. He's gonna stay on the ground and try and make himself as small as possible. Curled up, wings over his face.
Okay. Dewey, you are curled up with your wings over your face, right? And you can hear the myriad under you just go, Step up, one and all. Look at the incredible failure. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, kids and queers of all ages. Grab your tomatoes, grab your rotten banana peels, and throw them. I mean, this disaster barely even deserves your trash. But we'll make do. And you realize that a line is queuing up, basically, and the myriad is tossing rotten vegetables and fruits to the audience to throw at you. You know, almost like a dunk tank. But they're just throwing it like at the bars and at the cage, and you feel like gross, mushy things just splatter against your wings and your feathers. Right? How's this making you feel?
Shall I speak about it at length?
Perhaps you shall. Perhaps you shall.
I think he's given into the illusion. He doesn't see his family or his friends anywhere. For all he knows, they've been blown up. He should have been blown up. And he was so sure that the myriad was someone sent by the URL to come after him and kill him, because that's totally something they would do. But now it kind of feels like the myriad is just voicing the things that are shoved away in the back of his mind. And all of this feels like too perfect of a storm, too targeted, to be someone else's thoughts and words. So it kind of feels like he's both inside the cage and outside as the myriad. He is losing his touch.
Ugh, I love that. Why don't you take some inspiration for that? For that insight, that Dewey insight. As you're curled up, thinking about all these things, slipping maybe deeper and deeper into a pit of despair, you hear a familiar voice coming from the line of people throwing vegetables at you. Ualani goes, you know what? Give me a coconut. As Ualani takes a rotten coconut shell from the myriad and looks up at you, Dewey. Do you peer through your feathers, or are you like unable to face her?
Yeah, I think I look at her. I lift my head.
As you lift your head and look down at Ualani, whose face is just, she looks so disappointed in you, Dewey. But not surprised, just disappointed. She also looks angry. She looks really resentful of you. And her hands are kind of shaking as she holds this coconut shell in her palm. And she says, This is for all the times you abandoned us. Before you actually abandoned us for real, Cardew. This is for all the late nights you pulled working on your next miraculous invention when all I needed was for you to come and just help me with dinner. This is for all the times you brushed me off. Made me feel like I was not as smart as you. Maybe that wasn't your intention, but that's how it came off, Cardew. This is for Hana and the life you're not able to give her. And then Ualani throws the coconut shell at you. Dewey, does it hit?
I think he drops his head and it hits him.
Yeah. I think you are going to take 3 points of psychic damage as the coconut collides with your feathers. And then Ualani steps aside to reveal Oka. Oka, what vegetable or fruit do you request from the myriad?
Ooh, something slimy, kind of like him.
One slimy thing like Cardew coming right up. And the myriad hands you like an eel.
Oh yeah, Oka kind of like whips the eel around, and they go. I knew we must have been wrong. I mean, I can see Manaia as a paragon. I can even see V as a paragon. I can see myself clearly. But you? No, not you, Cardew. You're not good for much, are you? And Oka throws the eel. And I think it just like splatters kind of like wetly against the bars. And Oka smiles and steps back.
Dewey, how do you react to that?
These are words he would have said about himself. So, yeah, he doesn't even meet Oka's eyes.
Okay. Stepping up to the plate next is V. V, what kind of a vegetable or fruit are you taking from the myriad?
I think it's gonna be an apple that has a good bite out of it, so you can see the insides are all rotten and infested.
Okay. And what do you say to Dewey before you throw it?
I've waiting this entire time, so many months, to see you actually contribute something to this group, and I've seen nothing. And then I chuck it.
Dewey, does it hit? Yeah, that one hits you square in the face, I think. And maybe it even like knocks you backward and rocks the cage, right? And everyone like cheers, and laughs and jeers at you, and the myriad goes, "Ooh, that's a natural one. Natural crit." As I didn't want to get too meta with the myriad. Let me wreck on that. The myriad goes, "Ooh, that one was spot on." As V steps to the side, and the last batter up is going to be Manaia. What fruit or vegetable do you grab from the myriad?
The biggest, heaviest melon, most thoroughly rotten you've got.
You've got it, Manaia. Here. And the myriad hands you exactly that. It's disgusting.
Manaia sort of tosses it up with one hand, sort of effortlessly, and absent-mindedly says, "Unohanahen's duty is to her people. You've done nothing for anyone but leave and use them for your own personal gains. You aren't Uhan. You never were." And Manaia does a spin and shot puts it directly to his chest.
Okay. As this rotten fruit just rains down on you, Cardew, like splattering you, like coloring your feathers, right? What color is this melon, Cardew?
Something like a durian, so like kind of pale, creamy, off-white.
Gross. You're spattered in this like rotten, pale mush, right? And the crowd jeers as this like cage just rocks back and forth from like the weight of all of these fruits and vegetables smacking against it. And Cardew, tell me, is that enough to make you mark a box?
I think he marked a box when everything exploded.
Okay.
And I think as these things hit the cage, especially the last one, it hits with such force that his glasses are knocked off his face. And he like looks around for a moment, trying to look for them. And he's like scrambling, trying to find it when everything is blurry. And he can't find it, and he realizes that like not only are the things far away from him, like his friends, blurry, he also like can't see things in front of him, and so I think things just kind of fade into like everything turns into a blur, and he loses consciousness again.
Okay. How many boxes checked are you at?
I'm gonna go with 5.
Okay. Yeah. Cardew, you are also taken by the carnival. Everything blurs together in front of your eyes. You know, the jeering, the taunting, the booing, the last bits of trash, like flying at the cage, knocking into you. You feel almost like a little nauseous as like the cage is like rocking back and forth, right? Your eyes are closed and you're just sort of like curled up, right? And when you open your eyes back up, the rocking motion slows down as you realize you're sitting on like one of those pirate ship rides that fairs have, right? And it's slowed down and it docks. And you're sitting in a line, right? To your right, you see Ualani. And Ualani is holding Hana, right? And Hana's like, I want to go again. That was so much fun. And then Ualani turns to you, Cardew, and goes, Cardew, your glasses fell off again. And she produces your fallen off glasses from like a pocket and puts them on your eyes. And then you see the entire carnival in crisp, clear detail. A massive Ferris wheel with its fairy lights. The midway bustling with games and food, right? Various rides and attractions and performers. And of course, the main attraction, the big top. At the base of the Ferris wheel that so many people are going in and out of, and whatever's in there is loud and noisy and beautiful and magical, but you don't exactly know what's in there yet. And Ualani just smiles at you and says, Cardew, oh, you look so sad. You always look so sad. Why don't you just stay here with us? Everything out there is so hard, and no one really seems to like you or appreciate you. Just stay here with us. You don't have to think about anything bad if you just keep having fun.
I did miss you all.
I missed you too, Daddy. Can you get me an apple? One with candy on it?
Do you want to go play the horse game and maybe we can win you one?
Horsey! Yes, Horsey!
I bet you can beat me.
Love it. Hana like gets up, and as the three of you scoot out, Ualani goes, oh, and there's Rose. And like points, and as you turn, right, we cut to the fireball did go off, so I'm gonna have you roll damage on yourself.
All right. Do I get to roll the dex save part of it, or?
I'm gonna go with a hard no on that.
I'm not gonna fight that. All right. So we got 10, 13, 16, 22, 27, 28 points of fire damage.
Oh boy. Okay. What are you at, incidentally?
Hold on, let me do some math. 18.
Okay, 18 points. Total, Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah. Your entire world burns up in flames, right? And your mom, whom you're holding on to, just lets out like this low plaintive wail, right? As fire engulfs everything. She just goes, oh, V. If only I'd never had you. And then she just explodes in flames, and everything is like just your rage, your grief, everything, right? Your powerlessness it just comes bursting out of you in this fire, and you are just wreathed in flame as well. And there's nothing around you but just burning red fire, right? Even as your flesh screams with pain, even as like you can smell the charred burning of your own hair, right? You don't care. There's just fire everywhere. You're burning it all down. And then, cutting through the fire, is a line of ice as this wintry wind separates your flames and basically like douses it down a little bit. And standing across from you, the source of this ice breath, this huge gust of wintry air, is a man. A man that you've never seen before in your life. But you recognize him immediately. He's tall. He's got pale skin and this blonde hair that's sort of slicked back, right? And shaved on the sides. He's dressed in a suit, not unlike Sievert, but there's something even crisper about it. His frame is not as big and bulky as Sievert. It's a little bit more lithe, a little bit more tawny, right? And his face looks hungry and chiseled. Your father curls his left hand into a fist, and the flames just poof, extinguish around him as just this ice just explodes out from his feet. Do you know what Vasanti means, child?
I think V is like literally just shocked right now and like just literally stammering and cannot. I think falls to her knees even looking at this guy.
Vasanti, in my tongue, the forgotten tongue of dragons. And you see, shing, 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 the name of Vasanti appear in glowing runes in front of you. And for some reason, you can read it, right? And if Dewey were here, he would recognize these runes as exactly the same as the ones on Tanga's inventions. But Dewey is not here. And V, you look at these runes and you realize that they, sure enough, they spell out Vasanti. V-A-S-A-N-T-I, but in Draconic, right? The forgotten ancient Draconic of true dragons. Extinct now for many, many millennia. Vasanti means chosen, destined, prophesized. And with every word, he takes a step closer to you. And with every step, poof, poof, the ground like just sort of explodes in like ice, right? Like his very presence is so cold that the environment can't help but change. What do you say as he approaches you?
I didn't believe in any of that. You weren't supposed to be real. Where have you been?
Away from you. And for good reason. You're not Vasanti. And he swipes a hand in front of the air, and the A-N... Well, every part of the name. Hold on, let me try that again. Someone who can do alphabets, help me.
Someone who is not gay and can spell, please assist us.
Okay, I got it. Hold on.
I-S-A-N-T-E.
I got it. All right, I'm gonna redo that. He approaches you. He swipes a hand through the air, and the A-S-A-N-T-I just disappear, right? Like he scratched them out of fate. And the only letter left behind is V. That's all you are. You are not Vasanti. You are V. A fragment of what you could have become. Even if you'd chosen the fates would not have chosen you.
V closes her eyes for a second, and when she opens them, I became V because you abandoned me. I became V, and yet here I am, a paragon of Skald and Nectis, and No matter how much I try to run, I find myself in front of fate. Seems like I can't run any longer.
Are you removing a risk box? Is that what that means? Are you standing up for yourself?
Yeah, maybe. I'm on the cusp of it. Let's see how this plays out.
Okay, sounds good. Your father looks down at you, right? And just dancing on your periphery is just fire and ice, right? Twining around themselves, right? These like icicles with like flames wreathed around them, melting the ice, and then the ice will come up and blow away the fire. It's like two sides of yourself, right? Battling against each other. Your father looks down at you and says, whatever platitudes, whatever lies you have to tell yourself at night to keep yourself going, I don't care. But I hope you know this, V. I don't want you. Sievert doesn't want you. Rev doesn't want you. Your mother didn't want you. She never did. And these new companions you call your friends, they don't want you either. That's all people are good for. The leaving. That's all they do.
V. I think V is going to use the very last of her 3 sorcery points to make one more level 2 slot to cast Scorching Ray to just try to blast her father.
Okay, that's a attack roll, right?
Yeah.
3, if I recall correctly?
Yeah, 1 for each ray.
All right, go for it.
My third one. Oh, there's. 24, 15, and 18.
Okay. The 24 just hits, and the other 2 do not. So why don't you, hold on, let me just check. Yeah, why don't you roll damage on the one with the 24?
11, almost max damage.
Okay.
On that ray.
Yeah, so describe to me what it looks like as this one ray hits.
Yeah, I think V is just gonna throw out the 3 rays at the same time, and 2 just go off just to either side, and then the 1 hits straight in the chest and just burns. You just see the constant burning, and it's getting real hot between the 2 of them.
Totally, yeah, I love that. Your father looks down, right? He doesn't even like stagger backward when this one like ray hits him in the chest. He looks down, and like you see you've like burned a hole in his suit. And he just goes, ugh, that was a good one, too. And then he raises, like, a hand and snaps his fingers, and the suit seems to, like, mend itself. And, like, the fire, like, the scorch mark that was left behind, like, the smoke rising, is, like, snuffed out. And he says, power. Power. You want to see power? You want to see true power, V, who could have been Vasanti, but will never be? Brace yourself. I'll show you what a chosen one's power looks like. And he takes a deep breath and blows frost at you. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
All right. Let's see. 16.
Okay, that is not sufficient. Would you like to use inspiration?
Yeah, I got one. Let me just, I'll try it.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
We also have plenty of collective inspiration and an auto crit on the board.
This is I'm so low at. I'm gonna use the autocrit because I'm so low on health right now.
Okay, that's fair. That's super fair. So what does it look like as you just crit this save?
I think that little spark of confidence about being a paragon, V just stands up and takes it, and you know what? Actually, she's reaching deep down. She has the blessing of Vanash that Oka gave her a long, long time ago, and she's gonna use it to give herself like a little protective shield.
Love you, V.
Oh my god, I love that. Okay. This like electricity crackles around you and you stand there assured in your knowledge that you are chosen. You are a chosen paragon of Skad and Nectus. Who is he to call you unchosen, undestined, right? And this cold air just gusts around you, and this Vinash's blessing forms this protective barrier around you, but it's more than that. It's your confidence, right? It's the fact that you know you belong here. And this icy cold air, which you know would have like frozen even the hottest flame to a crisp, right? Just parts around you. When it dies down, do you feel like you can erase a box there? Or multiple?
You know, it's funny because I was just about to put in the 5th box after some of that. So actually, I have 1 box left open after all of that. It kind of canceled out a lot. So I've got 4 boxes.
Okay, sounds good. And as the wintry air gusts around you and then dies down, your father stands there and you see a look of shock on his face that then quickly melds back into this like perfect composure. And he says, well, whatever. I'm not real anyway. But that doesn't mean what I say isn't true. And then he backs off as these dancing images of flames and ice just sort of also fade down. And as everything just sort of fades out of existence as he backs off, the forest of Clothau Jungle begins to grow back into reality. V, as you steady yourself and pull yourself back to reality.
I think with that, V is gonna fall to her knee, completely exhausted of all magic ability at this point. Falls to her knees and just like fucking cries, but like not a sad cry or like a hurting cry like earlier. It was just like fucking just relief, just
right.
Relief.
I love that. And on that, we're gonna have a little coda at the end of the session. We go back to a mirror maze. We go back to a sword, speared through a certain Oka Hie's chest. Oka, you kneel there, panting. How are you doing?
Connie, what kind of fucking question is that? Fuck's sake, how am I doing? Not well. I imagine I have like 1 HP and it's quickly draining. Oka, Makoya just left into the mirror. And Oka is still staring after that, like the breath, the words, the air just choked, stuck in their throat.
You're at 4 boxes, right? Okay. As you're there just breathing, right? You hear a voice from behind you go, I don't really use swords, but I'm pretty sure that's not what you're supposed to do with them. As you see stepping into your view, like reflected a dozen times around you, Kane. This midnight-skinned tiefling is leaning against a mirror. You're not exactly sure where they are, but they're flipping a coin in the air and like looking at it. They're lounging lazily, right? Their robes sort of like draped open around their chest to reveal those top surgery scars. They're barefooted, and their hair is this like careless mess, right, around their shoulders. What do you do?
Do my hair. I don't know. Just kidding. Oka is kneeling there with a sword stuck in their chest, and I think they still find like the barest shred of will to like look up and over, and they just kind of choke out, "Fuck you."
And Kane just sort of pushes off of whatever surface they're leaning against, and you see all these canes like approaching you, right? But you don't know where the real one is, or if this is also just a trick of the carnival, right?
Can I use that good old brand of castigation to lock my eyes on the real one?
Yes. You channel this blood magic in you, and it pings, right? Cutting through this hazy series of miasmic hallucinations and illusions. There is the real, actual Kane here, and you can sense them. They're approaching you from directly behind you.
Well, there's not much I can do about that. I get the feeling that if I move, I'm going to pass out. So Oka looks in past themselves into the mirror, like into the mirror directly in front of them so they can see Kane coming from behind them.
I hope you don't mind, but I took the liberty of noticing the little brand you left on my thigh, and I thought I'd follow it back to its root. And my, is this the kind of history you come from? What was that monster? Looked like something out of a storybook. And were those your siblings? How precious.
Oka just flinches, I think, and just kind of like turns their head a little. What could you possibly fucking want right now?
What I want is for you to answer this question, beloved. And Kane is now standing directly behind you, right? So you're only seeing them through the mirror. They cock their head, look down at you, and they say, "What are you so mad about? What's so bad about being bad?"
What? What do you mean?
You know, it's only torture if what they say actually strikes a chord with you, if you try to resist your nature. So they call you evil. So what? Embrace it. There's nothing bad about being evil. Ugh, when you're good, you have to follow so many inane, redundant rules. Oh, don't kill. Oh, don't steal. Oh, don't lie. Who cares? Who gives a damn? True freedom, my friend, is when you just accept the fact that you're a monster. I mean, what can happen to you after that? They call you a monster again.
Doesn't it bother you? You're in here too, aren't you?
Well, sure, I am here, but I've accepted it. You know, the carnival isn't so bad. In fact, I think it's wonderful. It's a place we can go to when we feel alone, when we feel forgotten, when we feel misunderstood. Scott and Nectus. Excuse me. The ringleaders don't care what kind of baggage you bring in. You leave that shit at the fucking door. We're just here to have a good time. We're just here to party and have fun and be free until the inevitable end of the world. What end of the world? See? It doesn't matter. Come on now, darling. And Kane circles around until they're in front of you, and they crouch down. Don't you just want to be bad? There's gotta be a part of you. I mean, you are a precious little monster hunter, aren't you?
Oka their eyes flick from Kane just like over their shoulder to their reflection. And just like how when they first came in, they can't fucking bear to look at themselves, and they look back at Kane. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. I want to forget. I want to forget.
Then let's have some fun. And Kane grabs your chin, right, with one hand. And they lean in. And with the other hand, they grab the hilt of Dream Hunter. And as they pull it out of your chest, right, as this pain screeches against your body, as sort of a salve, right, to make you forget the pain, Kane leans in and they kiss you. And we get another session there! Yay! Thank you for sticking with me for the coda! Thank you everyone for tuning in to Arc 3, Episode 7 of Transplanar RPG. When you fall, do it gloriously. Ooh, and what glorious falls those were. Tune in next week. That's going to be Saturday, June 26th for the midpoint of our arc. That is going to be Arc 3, Episode 8. Oh my goodness, 3 of our 4 PCs have been taken by the Carnival, and the only one who hasn't is, for some reason, V. So what's gonna happen? Is V gonna be able to save everyone? This all rests on the paragon of Scott and Nectus. Scott and Nectus. Scott and Nectus.
Scott and Nectus. Scott and Nectus.
I have been Connie, your GM. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me on Twitter, Itch, and Patreon at ByConnieChannel. If you pledge to my Patreon for only as low as $3 a month, you get exclusive voting power over the kinds of GM tips articles that I write about. And all patrons also get access, I think apprentices and up, get access to Professor Child's Tabletop Workshop, which is a monthly live stream Q&A that I'll do about GM tips and whatnot. So that's interesting to you, go to patreon.com/ByConnieChan. And with that, I will pass along introductions to Devin.
Hello, everyone. My name's Devin. I use they, them pronouns. I play Manaia. She's 4'5" and a literal child at the Carnival. Currently rolling up a new character. I am the artistic director of Shout, Minnesota, which is Minnesota's all trans and gender diverse choir based in the Twin Cities. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Shout Minnesota. We're hoping to start up rehearsals soon and maybe start performing later this year. Check us out. Dates. You should also join our Discord server. It's a wonderful place full of wonderful people, and people are literally freaking out so much about this episode. They're posting memes and funny jokes. Funny jokes. So if you want to go see those, of course you can't post like images in the Twitch chat. So if you want to get some like little extra content and laugh a little bit, join the Discord server. It's a wonderful place to be. And with that, I'll pass outroductions to Ilika.
Hello, everybody. I'm Erica. She, her pronouns, and I played Vinox Scherzo, the master manipulator. Not today, father, not today. You can find me at Erica Newgirl on any platform that I'm on, but come check me out on stream here on Twitch. We like to have a good time. I swear it'll be a little less traumatizing, only a little bit, or as they say in French, a peu, less traumatizing than I know a few words in French than this session. So now I will pass it to Max before anyone challenges any more my French.
I'll leave that one be. Hi, I'm Max. I go by they, them pronouns. I play Dewey Quirk, Andake's Least Wanted. You can find me on Instagram, mostly, at Starchmonger and Stitchmonger, where I do some gay sewing and also post cats. I'll pass it to C.
Hi all, my name is C. I use they, them pronouns. I'm still blushing, so don't mind me. You can find me streaming on Twitch at pi_sharp or on Twitter at pi_sharp_art. I am a digital artist, so I probably be drawing something like that. Don't worry about it. I'm gay. I'm gay. Oh god, I'm so fucked. Okay, back to Connie for the thing that you're doing tonight.
That's true. So there's more of Connie goodness. I am running a level 20 one-shot tonight at 8 p.m. U.S. Central Time. That is 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern on Effin Funny's Twitch channel. That's EFFINFUNNY. For Abria Iyengar, Critical Bard, Gabe James Games, and Christina frickin' Ariel. All proceeds are going to benefit charity for this Juneteenth charity 12-hour marathon stream. The charity in question is The Last Mile, which is a program/organization that helps rehabilitate incarcerated folks by giving them a professional and technological training to help reintegrate them into society. So it's a great cause. Swing by tonight. They're on right now. Give them a follow so you'll get alerted, so you'll remember to go on. Right now, we are going to be raiding Utopia, who have a Juneteenth one-shot, Mutants in the Night going. They are great. Show them some love. Drop our raid message in chat. So I believe someone... Yes, so use Transplanar as plane shifting into your stream as that. I'm going to wait for those on mobile to catch up. But for now, I'm going to bring us to the goodbye screen. We will see you for our anniversary weekend this coming week. Friday, we got a one-shot. Saturday, we got this thing going on. We've got the next episode. Sunday is going to be our Patreon launch party. And Monday, we are going to release our freaking podcast. So this coming weekend, it's going to be lit. Stay tuned, subscribe to everything, love our podcast when it comes out, and we will see you all on the flippity flip. Peace.